What's good, y'all? Oh. So, man, there's a few things that I want to talk about today. But I'm a little bit drained today. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's about 10 o'clock when I'm making this, and I'm gonna go to bed right after because I don't know. Today I woke up and I had absolutely no energy. I was a little bit better during like the middle of the day, but right now I'm just so completely tired. I haven't even uploaded. I haven't recorded any gameplay either, that's brutal because I'm gonna have to do that too. I want to give you guys something behind this. I know you guys don't care. But some of you do, and so I figured I'm gonna put that in there for those of you that do. I'm gonna switch up the game, by the way. For me, I like to switch up the games. I don't like to keep it at just one thing. I get very bored doing that. So there'll be a bunch of different gameplay on my channel of just the games that I play, the ones that I have. But anyway, there was a few things that are on my mind today, and it's mostly about the normies. It's mostly about the normies, and they really drive me up a wall, man. They drive me up an absolute wall. I've been thinking about this for a while. Honestly, I can't say everything that I want to say on the topic because I know for a fact that if I do, I will get banned. I will get struck. So I'm trying to avoid that. But I will say this. I'll go into detail on this, or at least a little bit, what I think about it. The gaslighting. Normies are the number one gaslighters in the entire world, man. They will gaslight you about pretty much anything, because they have the power of the group, right? They have the power of confirmation bias via the group, right? And it's sort of like that old thing, like how everybody thought Galileo was crazy, and everybody in the group said, well, no, we're the center of the earth or the center of the universe, and the sun revolves around us. And Galileo was trying to tell everybody, no, it's not the sun that revolves around us. We revolve around the sun. And everybody was like, well, we don't like that. We like thinking we're the center of the universe, so we don't like you, so let's hang you. Or whatever they did to him, ostracize them or whatever. This is something that is very typical with the normies, and it's typical for just what they are in general. They just seem, they're just one of the, I don't know, a lot of the times I question why normies are what they are. I question why is it that they act the way that they do and say the things that they say. I'll give you an example, man. So many normies, they'll say that looks don't matter, or you're shallow for thinking that, or it's just you that think looks only looks matter. They will say so many things. Even when I say, like, this happens with the religious people too. Now, if you're religious, that's fine. I don't really have any beef with you. I don't believe in it, but it's up to you. I don't have any real beef, but I see a lot of religious normies sort of espouse this. They refuse to believe that we are 98 to 99% ape, right? And they'll say something along the lines of, "Oh no, you're just an ape. You might be an ape, but I'm not. I'm a human being." And they don't even actually realize their own behaviors, their own ape-like behaviors, and the way that they act and think. I'll give you guys an example that I was thinking about. You ever see in movies, right? And this is just a common occurrence. It's always the good guy that is good looking. You see in like Game of Thrones, for example, you got like Jaime Lannister and Jon Snow. Now I haven't seen that is it it's Game of Thrones. I haven't seen the entire show. I've seen like tidbits here and there, but I do know that Jon Snow is like a main character and Jaime Lannister is like a typical Chad type, and I'm pretty sure he's well received by like the people in the show, the people who watch the show. Like they see him as sort of a hero type. Again, I don't know this for a fact. I don't know who the hero or the villains are of the show. But there's plenty of others. Like, it doesn't matter where you look. You can see Tony Stark, for example, Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays Doctor Strange in like the Marvel universe, RDJ playing Tony Stark, and then you have like Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man. Like you have Henry Cavill, who plays Superman. You look at all these movies. I don't know if you guys have watched like the Green Arrow or anything, but you have Stephen Amell, very good-looking guy. He plays Green Arrow. He's the main character, and you always see like it's a sub five, or it's just an ugly guy in general who's always playing the villain. Now, why is that? Why is that? Do you think? Do you think it's just because, well, that's just how the movie is? No, it's because we as people have this innate response inside of us that we look at ugly people in a certain way. We look at them more negatively, and the reason is because we know. Most importantly, the normies know. The normies know that the ugly people typically have bad attitudes, but the reason they have they never want to say this. This is the part where the gaslighting comes in. They never ever admit that the reason these ugly people have bad attitudes is because of how they were treated. They'll always just say it's because of them, or, oh, well, you can't, change your attitudes towards people because of how they treat you. You can't, say that it's anybody else's fault because they treated you badly for being ugly. And they will literally gaslight you into oblivion, into believing that you deserve the bad treatment that you got, that made you bitter or resentful or not apathetic towards other people. They will literally fight tooth and nail that it is not in any way, shape, or form the people who made your life hell. It is not their fault at all. It is your fault for being ugly, essentially. That's basically what they say. Now, some people might say, oh, well, Chooch, that's a straw man. That's not actually what they're saying. But it is, without so many words. Now, obviously, they can't say that actually, because if they do, they're going to look like assholes, which they are. But they will never in a million years admit, and I say this all the time, man, there's a reason that Voldemort specifically will never go for like the ugly guys. So they'll always go for like the bully types. And the reason is, and they don't want their sons to be ugly. It's because they know, it's not just Voldemort, it's guys too, but they know how they treat ugly people, because ugly people are just the easiest to roast. They're the easiest to make fun of. It's very difficult to make fun of somebody who's good looking and is tall and attractive and smart, right? Because he's essentially invulnerable. None of those are bad traits. Human beings, we understand what are good traits and are bad traits because those good traits have something to offer us and the bad traits don't. And so if you don't have something to offer people, they will see you as just bad inherently. But someone who's good looking and smart and tall and has like a rich family, etc., they're always going to have something to offer you. If you're a Voldemort, then they'll have status to offer you by being with him. They'll have all the expensive trips, they'll have all the rides, they'll have all the nice family dinners, etc., the nice house. They'll have everything pretty much, the jacuzzi, whatever it might be. They'll have all these things that they can get from the rich, good-looking Chad type. But when it comes to the ugly guy, the only thing they can get out of you is making fun of you. They can have some fun with you by literally making fun of you. That's why we say make fun, right? When you're making fun of somebody, you are quite literally making fun out of them, right? You're not treating them as a human being. You're just treating them like fun, this thing to pick on and to use to your own enjoyment as you see fit. But there's no actual humanity when you look at these, when a lot of people look at these and there's no actual humanity in the way that they treat them either. They think because you're ugly, they get to treat you as they want. They can treat you like a villain. It's easier to villainize you. They can make fun of you, etc. They just see you as a walking target, like most of the time. Now, for me, again, I was a little bit luckier in the sense that, number one, I jester maxed a lot, and so that kind of saved me. And number two, I was a little bit of a bigger guy. And so people didn't really want to mess with... Now, people mess with me for sure, but they didn't mess with me too much. Do you know what I mean? Not to the point where things got like really, really bad. But so many times I will see like a normie say something like, oh, this person is so terrible. How could they do this? Why would they do this, etc. And the story is always the same as to why the person did it. Now, again, I have to be careful with what I say here. That's why I'm keeping things very vague. Because if I wanted to go into specific detail, I could. But 99% chance, again, I would get banned. I'm really thinking about making a Patreon, man. I really am. I think somebody told me you could set it up for free. I don't want to charge you guys because I feel like that's just not a thing to do. And even if I did charge, it would be like $1. Because, number one, my videos aren't even that good. I don't think they're even worth, in my opinion, I don't think they're worth like $10, God forbid. No, just no chance. It's just me sitting in a car rambling. So if I can set up a Patreon or a Rumble account, I can definitely set up a Rumble account. So I'll see about doing that. So that way I can actually say what I want to say. But anyway, without having to sort of speak around it. But man, they will. Where was I? God damn it! I just interrupted myself. Give me a second. Okay, I remember. We're back. So they'll be asking themselves, well, why would this person do this terrible thing? And it's like, I can very much understand why this person might do this thing if they've been treated like absolute dog trash for their entire lives. Like when you treat somebody as less than human, you can't be surprised when you get treated as less than human, right? It's always the normies with this gaslighting, this like surprise Pikachu face. It's like, wait, what? We treated this person absolutely terribly, and then he responded by doing something terrible? How could that ever happen? Why would they do that? And the normies would do the same thing, right? If something bad happened to a normie, they would without question want something just as bad or worse to happen to the person who did it to them. But when it's them doing this something bad, right? And then that person reacts in a kind of way, they will immediately gaslight. What's wrong with you? It's like those passive-aggressive pricks, right? Well, they'll be like teasing you, and then when you respond, right, and you like freak out a little bit, they'll be like, bro, what's wrong with you? Why are you getting so angry? Can you not control your emotions? And it's so infuriating seeing stuff like that, because these people are such complete hypocrites. These normies are such just unbearable hypocrites. They will act like they are Jesus Christ himself. They are an angel. They've done no wrong. They can do no wrong. And anything they might have done is either A, justified, or B, the other person took it too serious and it was just a joke. They will always find some kind of excuses for their behaviors if their behaviors end up doling out some kind of consequences to themselves or other people. They will always try to make you the bad guy for the bad things that they have done that you respond to. And it's just one of the most infuriating things. Now, what got me thinking about this was, I see a lot of things nowadays, right, where you'll have these inkwells who will they'll go on Reddit or they'll go online and they'll talk about their experiences, and you read the comments, and it's a bunch of normies who are like, bro, you're just soft, you just have thin skin, you got to be able to take a joke or be able to, take some trash talking, etc. And I understand that, dude. I used to play Call of Duty, man. I used to be 12 years old saying unfathomable things to people of all races. I was dropping every kind of word you could possibly think of. So I get the trash talking. But there's a difference between trash talking and like targeting, like repeated attacks against the same person over and over and over again. And again, the reason that they do this is because they think that they can. There's this inherent superiority to them, right? Where it's like, I'm normal, I'm better than you, therefore I can treat you how I want. It's this power dynamic, right? You see this a lot of times, and this is why I call them hypocrites, because they understand this, man. I don't believe for 1 second they don't understand what they're doing. This is why I also say they're always coming up with excuses and trying to virtue signal and all these things, trying to act like they're angels who've never done anything wrong. But they know exactly the things that they've done, because I'll give you an example. You'll see like on a video of some police officer who's like abusing his power or something. The traffic stop, it gets out of control. The police officer escalates. He does some things he probably shouldn't have done. And immediately when you check the comments, it's like always the same thing. It's like, this dude's wife left him, or his wife cheated on him, or this dude got bullied in high school. And for me, some people are just going to read that and they're going to move on. But for me, I really sit there and I actually thought about this. I was like, why would that be your first conclusion? Why is it that when a police officer abuses his power, that you think he was bullied in high school? Like, what is it about that? What is it about that behavior that makes you think he was bullied? Is it because you know exactly what you were doing when you were bullying people? Is it because you know that when you were abusing your power and you were doing these kind of bad things, that you knew how it would be perceived, or you knew how people would feel about it? When it's them abusing their power to make other people's lives worse, i.e. the inkwells or the sub-5s in high school, that's totally fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. They don't need to get made fun of in any comment section. But when it's a police officer abusing his power, all of a sudden, he's this, he's that, what about you? What about all of the people that committed an act of unaliving, who've roped themselves because of the things that you said, because of the things that the normies have said to them? What about those people? How did you not abuse your power? And if you did, then why don't you deserve some consequences to your actions? This is something that I think, man, genuinely. And maybe that wasn't the best way to put it, but again, I'm running on fumes here, but I'm trying my best to get it through, and I'm also trying to filter myself. I'm trying to be very careful with the words that I use. If I wasn't being careful, man, I could say exactly what I want to say and make a lot more sense, but I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to get at. I hold a lot of these normies responsible for a lot of the bad things that happen as a result of what they did. You don't get to do something and get away scot-free and act like you didn't have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? If you goad somebody, or you constantly tease somebody, or you constantly make their life hell, and then you're shocked, the surprise Pikachu face, when they decide to react in some kind of way as a defense mechanism against you constantly attacking him or her. It could be anybody. That's what I can't stand. Like, these normies know exactly what they're doing when they are trying to make these sub-5s life like hell. They know what they're doing. And I'm talking about when it's constant. Again, if it's just the occasional trash talking, if it's just, you guys are both sort of jibbing at each other or whatever it might be, I get that. But when it comes to the consistent, like again and again, just abuse, verbal abuse, and sometimes physical, of a lot of these inkwells, a lot of these sub-5s, it is genuinely shocking to me when these normies have the surprise Pikachu face again, when that sub-5 or that inkwell decides to actually do something to defend himself. And it's this really annoying thing too, man. It's like, they will do everything that they can to make your life hell, and they'll say the entire time, well, you're a weirdo, you're dangerous, or you're this, or you're that, and you've never done anything, right? You've never done a single thing bad. But they just, because you're ugly, they have the assumption of it, right? They have the assumption that because you're ugly, you're messed up, and so you are going to do something bad. You are just inherently bad because you're ugly. That's why they can treat you however they want, because they're better than you, because they're better looking than you. And then again, going back to what I said earlier, when it comes to the good guys being heroes and the bad guys being villains, there's just this subconscious thing in people's minds where it's like, if you're ugly, you're automatically a villain. If you're ugly, you're automatically a bad person. And the only time they don't say that is when you're a complete doormat. Only when you're a complete, absolute doormat will they be like, oh, well, he's a good guy, he's soft. But when it comes to being sub-5, you're either a creep and a psycho and a weirdo, etc., or you're just a super nice doormat. That's it. There's no, you can't be a normal person. You can't be a normie and be a sub-5. They won't let you. The normies won't let you, literally. They will make it very, very clear to you and to others that you are not welcome in the normie tribe. It doesn't matter how you act. It doesn't matter how normal you act. They will never treat you normally. They will never treat you as a sub 5 the same way they'll treat other normies, and God forbid, they'll never treat you the way they treat Chads, never in a million years. They will always treat you as lesser, and they think that any action that is done to you is essentially justified or okay or excusable because you're ugly. It's like this weird idea that because you're ugly, you deserve the suffering that we put onto you as normies, because you are below us and we are your superior, and they are our superiors in a sense, right? And I can't stand it for the life of me. It's so sick and twisted, and it's so messed up. But again, they don't care. Why? Because they have the power in that situation. They know it. The normies know they have social power because they work in herds, they work in groups, and they know what the power of the group holds. And so they can treat you however they want, especially if the rest of the group is treating you that way. They'll jump in right away. It's just that peer pressure, it's that bandwagoning. If everybody else is treating you in a certain way, most of the normies, most other people are going to treat you that way too. None of them are exempt from it. I guarantee you, there is not a single normie out there who has not made the life of a sub 5 worse in some kind of way. And here's the thing, man. I'm not a saint, okay? I'm not innocent. I'm sure I've bullied people in the past, and I'm not proud of it, but I've certainly done it. But it's just one of these things that once you grow up, like you should grow up, and you should understand that these things aren't good. People will only do something if they're incentivized to. This is something that I learned in life. People won't do things for no reason for the most part. There's always some kind of goal or objective that they have when they're going after it. Now, in a lot of cases, when you're younger and people are bullying you, it's because they have this animalistic top of the hierarchy kind of need, or this need to put you bottom or to put you lower because they want to make it to the top. And the easiest way to make it to the top is to just put other people down. Actually doing the hard work to improve on yourself, to become better and become higher in the hierarchy, so to speak, that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of work. It's much, much easier, more efficient to just take other people down than it is to build yourself up. And that's just one of the main reasons that they do it, in my opinion. One of the main reasons that most people do it, that they put other people down and they'll hone in on whatever it is that they can hone in on, and they'll try to make you look bad in front of a group of people and make the group of people laugh and make themselves look better, is because it's just that much easier. It's just that much easier for them to get social credit. It's that much easier for them to move up in the social hierarchy. It just makes it way, way easier for them to succeed if they just put you down instead of, again, building themselves up. Very, very few, I would say none, when it comes to normies, will actually treat a guy who's sub 5 well. They will use him for one reason or another. Because this is the thing. Again, I say this all the time. Human beings are transactional, right? They're not going to keep you around for no reason. There's something that you're offering them that they are going to use to their benefit, and something that they're offering you that you're going to use to your benefit. Usually, if you're smart about it, you need to use them to an extent because they're going to use you. And what they'll use sub 5s for is, I say this, they're going to use it to make themselves look better. That's what they always, always do. You see this with the Voldemorts all the time. They'll always have one, like Voldemort, who's like a fridge, and the other ones are pretty. They'll always have one that looks like an ogre, and the rest of them are pretty. Because having that ogre, having that fridge there, who looks so much worse, automatically just makes the rest of them look better by proxy. That's quite literally why they keep this Voldemort, the ugly Voldemorts, around, is because it makes them look better. And with the guys, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different. They usually keep one like guy who's at the bottom of the pack, so to speak, and they keep him around for fun. He's literally a punching bag, just somebody who's there to make everybody else's life better. Anytime they're sad or depressed and they want to have some fun and have some laughs, they'll pick on the dude who's sub 5 because it's just the easiest way to get it. And it's usually the same jokes, but it's just funny. And that's just what these people are. They don't have any care or consideration for you or how you feel or what your mental state is. They just don't care. You just have something there that they want to use, and they are going to use it until you're used up, and then they'll toss you away. This is what the normies actually are, unless you're a normie yourself. Then they'll treat you with some modicum of respect. But if you're a guy who's sub 5, this is why I never fall for the bullshit that these normies say when it's like, you're the one who's being shallow. No, buddy, I've been through it. I know I'm not shallow. You normies are the shallow ones. You are the ones who are very aware of this, which is why you will always, always, always hone in on picking the guy and pick on the guy who is the ugliest in the group. Always, always. Maybe he's not just the ugliest. Maybe he's the dumbest or the fattest or the slowest, whatever it might be. But it's always, always, almost always going to be a guy who's like the ugliest in the group that's going to get the most shit, like 99% of the time. And again, the same thing with the Voldemorts too. Because they understand genetics. They just won't admit it. They understand that genetics play a role in everything, and how you are and how people treat you, how you're perceived, what your life is going to be like, etc. They are well aware of it. And usually, this is the unfortunate thing about reality, The people who have good genetics in some areas typically, not all the time, but typically have good genetics in other areas. And the people who have bad genetics in some areas typically, not all the time, but typically have bad genetics in multiple areas. And so they are very, very, very well aware of this. Maybe they're not consciously aware, but aware of this, but subconsciously they definitely are. And that's why they always, again, hone in on these traits, and they will have no problem making fun of you for them. And this is one of the things. This is why looks maxing, at least in my opinion, when it comes to hard maxing. Now, soft maxing, I don't even consider that looks maxing. That's just basic hygiene. I've been over this. But when it comes to hard maxing and surgeries, it's so much more important because when you're sub 5 and you get surgeries and you become normal, you will notice people treat you differently, man. I've had so many testimonies from you guys who say, you've done some surgeries and people will just treat you with more respect just because you're now one of them. You're not an outcast anymore, right? You're one of them. You're one of the normies. And so they'll treat you as part of their group, and they'll treat you like they do the other normies, and they'll treat you a lot better just because you look better. That's it. It's the typical halo horn effect. The better you look, the better people will treat you because they're going to assume that you're just a better human being in general. That's just how we are. That's just how it is. So many people I know who've gone from sub 5. A lot of you guys have, like I said, given me testimony to this, man. A lot of you guys that have ascended. You never forget the treatment that you got, but you do realize how much differently they treat you when you start looking better. When you're not ugly, when you're not sub 5 anymore, and you look like a normie, or better yet, you look better than them. When you look better than them, that's when they literally start to kiss your feet, right? They'll always want to talk to you. They'll want to be your friend. They'll want to be around you because they understand, again, the social dynamics. They understand that if you're a good-looking guy, specifically, let's say you're a good-looking guy, you're going to have Voldemorts around you. And those other guys want to be around the Voldemorts that are going to be around you because they want to pick off your scraps, essentially. They see you as like an easy gateway into the Voldemorts that they want. And this is just it, man. They'll see you as smarter all of a sudden. They'll see you as better. They'll see you as more reliable. They'll just see you as a better person in general just because you're not ugly anymore. This is just the fundamental truth. These normies are the most brain-dead people. Because here's the thing, man. I fundamentally, and maybe this is cope, but when it comes to guys specifically, I don't really give two issues what a guy looks like. I care about what he has to offer me that can help me and how I can help him. I care about, at the minimum, quid pro quo. But at the best, what I like to look for is investment, right? So if I see a guy, man, and I think that one day he's going to be a good friend or he's doing, good work and whatever it might be, we can help each other out. That's the guy I want to look for. That's the guy I want to be buds with because I see that one day the investment is going to pay off. Do you know what I mean? And I see the same thing with the Voldemorts. Like, I'm not too big. As much as it is going to be nice to, be with any Voldemort. Well, that's a whole other topic, actually. Being with, because I wouldn't be with any Voldemort. That's the thing. I just wouldn't. I think a lot of them are gross. I think a lot of them. I don't want to get too off topic here, but you guys get the point. But anyway, man, I'm kind of out of juice, and I've said pretty much most of what I wanted to say, and what I could say at least. Again, I'm thinking about redoing this video and putting it up on Rumble or Patreon because there's a bunch of stuff that I wanted to say that would have made this make a lot more sense instead of me just keeping it very vague because there's a lot of stuff that happens in life that I see happen that people are sort of hanging their heads about, saying, oh, how could this ever happen? And I'm like sitting here thinking, I know exactly how it happened, and you are almost definitely part of the cause in some way. Maybe not in this specific scenario, these normies aren't the cause, but I guarantee you there's been plenty of people's lives who have been ruined, and they've been pushed to a breaking point by a bunch of normies, and they just act like they're these angelic, never done anything wrong angels who have absolutely no responsibility in the situation. Again, that's all I can say because gotta be careful. But that's it, y'all. That was all I had for today. Like I said, today is a little bit, I'm out of juice, and I can't say too much on here. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have for y'all. I'm out.